Hello, YouTube. Um, Today I will be talking about with uh, with the Spawn reboot, hopefully coming out next year. Um, Today I thought I would talk about the original Spawn, the director's cut from 1997. Now, this movie. Sorry, I can't help but laugh. This movie got massively stomped on by critics and audiences. Um, Spawn is, of course, created by Todd McFarlane. Um, he is from Image Comics. He's not DC or Marvel, for those of you who don't know. Um, but yeah, this movie, when Spawn first came out, when the comic book first came out back in the 90s, his popularity was just, he sold over 1 million copies. And then when the movie came out in 97, his popularity started to tank. And, but just over the past couple of years now, Spawn's popularity has really Spawn has really taken off again. His popularity is starting to rise back up. He's got he has some new titles out right now. King Spawn, Gunslinger, which I will probably be doing review of at some point. But anyway, the movie. So this movie, like I said, it came out in 97. It stars Michael Jae White as Spawn, John Leguizamo as the Violator, Martin Sheen as Jason Wynn. And then hold on a second, y'all. I just want to pull up the rest of the cast here. Bear with me a moment. Okay, yep. Theresa Randle as Wanda Blake. Nicol Williamson as Cagliostro. Davy Sweeney as Terry, and so on. So this movie, like I said, this movie was, massively panned by both critics and audiences. It did not do well at all. There was a sequel planned at one point. However, it was canceled, obviously, due to the movie's failure. This movie, for me, this movie is, I'm a huge Spawn fan. I'm a huge fan of the character. So this is more of like a guilty pleasure of mine. But yeah, it's basically it's about a man named Al Simmons who is a government assassin. He's a government assassin. He after a job goes wrong after a job goes, after a government job goes wrong, and innocents are caught in the crossfire of one of his jobs. He goes to his boss, Jason Wynn, and basically says, hey, I didn't sign up for this. I didn't, I didn't sign up for this. I never agreed to, I never agreed to kill innocent civilians. I'm out. I don't want to do this anymore. Um, so he is ultimately set up by his boss, um, and his boss Jason Wynn basically ends up being responsible um, for getting Al sent to hell because of what he did. So he gets sent to hell. So he dies. He's killed and he's sent to hell because of what he did. And he makes a deal with Mel Bolger, the devil, and basically says, and the devil basically says to him, if you lead my army, you can see your wife again. So he sells his soul to, the devil, and basically signs up for, and basically, says yes without even without even fully understanding, the full extent of like what he's signing up for. So he is brought back to life as Spawn, and he basically when he comes back, his memories are fragmented. Sorry, I can't talk today. His memories are fragmented. He doesn't remember who. He doesn't remember. He doesn't understand. Like how he got there, where he is. Where he is. Where he is. So basically, time has passed. Wanda, his wife, has moved on. She remarried. She has a little girl. She's moved on. And Spawn is basically in the dark of like what's been going on since then, where he's been. It's part of Hell's plan, basically, to keep the new recruits in the dark. Just hoping to discourage them of any personal mission, basically, because with Spawn, their mission, basically, he's supposed to do whatever the devil tells him to do, but obviously that's not the case with Spawn. He's supposed to bring about Armageddon. He's supposed to bring about Armageddon and lead Hell's army. Between the war that's going on between heaven and hell. And in terms of comic book accuracy, it's close enough for for its time. The Spawn and the Violator and Mel Bolger look literally exactly how they do in the comic books. Excuse me. My issue with this movie is I feel that, I said before, yes, it is a guilty pleasure of mine. However, the problem that the reason, at least in my opinion, why this movie failed is this movie had a very, very small budget. This movie had, hang on, y'all, let me look it up. Okay, yeah. This movie's budget only had a budget of like 40 to 45 million. And I think the stuff that they tried to do with this movie, yes, while there is a great deal of comic book accuracy in the movie, I feel like they tried to do too much on such a low budget, and I think that's one of the reasons why this movie, and I think that's one of the main reasons why this movie tanked as much as it did, is because obviously they wanted to keep it. Obviously they wanted to keep the movie, as close to the comic book as they could. But I feel like that with such a small budget, with but I feel like, because they had such a small budget, I feel like that, um, I feel like the stuff that they tried to pull off back then was not, basically, I think they tried to go too big on such a small budget is basically what I'm trying to say. But no, one of the things I really, really want to praise this movie for are the special effects. If you look here, it says the special effects movie event of the year. And the special effects in this movie for its time, I mean, just absolutely incredible. The scenes, especially with, like, for instance, if you've seen the movie where he crashes through the skylight, the big scene at the big party scene when he crashes through the skylight, when he crashes through the ceiling, and you see, like the cape and the you see him in like full costume. You see him crash through the ceiling and the cape fluttering, and I mean, what a friggin' beautiful shot right there. But yeah, no, the special effects, for its, for its time, were just absolutely incredible. Yeah, I like I said before, I mean, it's a guilty pleasure. It's not, the movie's not a masterpiece by any means. It's definitely not a movie that I would, it's definitely not a movie I would put up there with like Iron Man or Joker or, the Dark Knight trilogy or anything like that. But for its time, it was okay. I mean, this is, like I said, this is a guilty pleasure of mine. I'm a Spawn fan. So so for me, at least, it's worth seeing. I know a lot of I know a lot of people are probably going to give me comments saying this movie sucks, yada yada yada, and I mean, I get it. I mean, it's not, it's not a good movie. Like, it's not, like, very, very few people actually liked this movie. But there's definitely no question that Spawn is definitely due for another movie. I really, 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 really hope that McFarlane and Scott Silver get this new Spawn movie made. I know McFarlane himself is really, 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 really confident about the movie now more than ever. Like, he's completely convinced now that the new movie is finally going to get made. And I hope he's right, because I'm, like I said, I'm a Spawn fan. I'm dying for this new Spawn movie to come out. But the other thing I want to, before I end this review, I just want to say, John Leguizamo's performance as the Violator. McFarlane himself even said that he loved John's performance as the Violator. Like, if you've read the Spawn comic books, if you've any of you comic book fans out there who have read Spawn, know that John Leguizamo was literally just the perfect friggin' choice for the Violator. I mean, he stole that entire movie. He's literally the best part of this movie. Everything about it, from everything about it, you know, from like the costume design to, you know, everything about it from like, you know, from like the costume design to the, you know, from the costume design to the look of the characters to the look of hell. It's pretty, like I said, it's, you know, it's close enough to, you know, it's, you know, it's close enough that it very much resembles, you know, the comic books and the, you know, and the whole Spawn universe. Um, um, so I mean, it's up to you. I mean, what um, this is the director's cut. The theatrical cut, for whatever reason, was PG-13. The director's cut is R-rated. Um, if you haven't seen it, I mean, I'm gonna leave it. You know, I'm gonna uh, I'm gonna leave it up to you guys on whether or not, you know, you want to check out this movie or whatever. Like I said, just don't, you know, don't expect a masterpiece by any means, because it's, you know, it's definitely not. It is a guilty pleasure, so I guess, you know, if you enjoy guilty pleasure, if you, you know, if you enjoy guilty pleasures, check it out. But anyway, so I'm gonna end it here, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.